up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and of course, it is a Wealth Wednesday. So my partner Stacey Tisdale is here.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody.
I feel like we have the same hairdo,
I
almost.
know.
My
I'm
hair's
loving
never
it.
straight.
It looks beautiful. Sisters from another mister. And we are really excited to have another sister from another mister, Michelle
familiar
Anthony.
face, our friend, Michelle Anthony.
Who has been joining us as our guest co-host this month as we celebrate Black businesses this month.
Yes.
And most important, celebrating how Black businesses can scale. Mm-hmm. And you have done that. Our audience knows you. They know what you've created with Anthony and Associates. But you have a eye on a bigger prize. And I know for you, this is about generational wealth, and you're actually creating an energy company. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, this is, I've done well with government contracting, but the legacy is going to be this energy company, and I'm very honored that I was able to get into energy because, as you know, there are not many people that look like us that are going to be able to do anything from a global scale with energy. And because of my government contracting, I've been able to leverage that in order to prepare myself and my 4 children.
Say that again. Because of your government contracting.
Yes, because of the government contracting knowledge, experience, relationships, and just building that performance, being able to perform and people being able to rely upon me. Opportunities have come my way, and there's an opportunity that came my way about 3-4 years ago. And I was very intrigued regarding a graphene energy solution for a graphene smart battery. And, to try and explain graphene a little bit, I try to make it, for our people, when we saw Black Panther, it was by vibranium.
Right.
And so graphene is like vibranium.
Okay.
You remember how strong it could take the bullets and, every time, it would just absorb the energy and all of that. So graphene is the strongest substance right now known to man. And it is the thinnest and it's the lightest. But if you add graphene to anything, the difference will be at least 30% different than what it was prior to you adding it. And so when we found out about the smart battery, and I started talking with my children because I wanted them to understand, I've always been trying to groom them the whole way about business. Well, Andwele, my son sitting here, he would always say, Mom, government contracting is boring. He never wanted to do that. He never had an interest in it. But I found an investment with a hydrogen company a few years back, and I introduced him to it. And from that point forward, between investing and between learning about clean fuels and clean energy, he grasped that.
Right.
And so that's why we're
And
here
that's
today.
important for his generation
Yes.
and the generation after us. A lot of times when we think about climate change and things that are important now, some people don't care because they're like, oh, I'm not going to be alive for that anyway.
Yes.
But when you think about the next generation and the generation after that, it matters so much.
It does.
And Dwella, your generation is actually the first in history that the majority don't want to have children. And if you dig into the research and the data on that, one of the top reasons they say is the climate. Whereas for us, we kind of think of it as it's a problem and it's out there, but you guys are really into it. Talk to us about how important that climate change aspect it was for you to work with your mother.
To speak on that, I really do want to have children. I really want to, be married one day and have a family. So the climate change was definitely something important for me and my mom to tackle together and be partners and everything. So because, all the dangers and everything like that with climate change and the weather and the heat and just everything and the illnesses and everything like that can really affect my children and their kids and their kids. And even though I may not be there, they're still my family and they're still, who I care about. So, I definitely want to be able to make a positive impact in the climate change. For sure.
Yeah. Even remember we had Daryl Fairweather up here from Redfin, chief economist at Redfin, and she was talking about how they added that on to Redfin as one of the considerations, like the climate, in different places. Because even when it comes to real estate and where you're planning to live,
Yes.
there's places that will be affected so much by climate change. When you think about all of the mudslides, when you think about being underwater, when you think about the wildfires, all of those things, that's all because of climate change.
And it disproportionately affects communities of color.
It does. You know, we were talking about that, and what's so sad about that is when you look at the statistics, it actually shows that we caused the least amount of damage, but we've paid the highest price.
You always talk about the example of the inhaling bad things at the bus stop.
Oh yeah, you know, just again, that's one example. You know, we're watching our little kids go to school and outside, and you have that big area where all the buses are, and they're just emitting all of this black smoke from diesel, and no one is paying attention that our children are breathing that. You know, and then all of a sudden you have more asthma cases, you have more issues,
Right.
you know, respiratory issues because of what's in the air and the types of air that you breathe. I think Andwele and I were talking about, where the nuclear reactor plants, where everything that can be harmful, those things are strategically placed near communities of color. You know, and that is a problem because at first I didn't look at it that way. You know, I grew up in the hood. So, you know, just seeing things being broken, torn up, whatever, that was just the norm.
Right.
And I didn't understand that was systemic. That was being done on purpose, you know, so that, you know, because we didn't matter, you know, and we were talking about just like the little children in Flint, when the Flint situation happened, you know, where I live and where we live and where they've been raised, we would never encounter any of these issues. And when you sit back and you peel the layers of the onion back, there is a distinct difference of the air that I breathe versus what other children and other people that look like me are breathing. And that's on purpose. It's another way that people of color have been discriminated against. And we don't look at it that way. I never saw it that way. But there is environmental injustice.
Absolutely.
And we are at the top of that.
And Andwele, I want to talk to you more about climate change and your feelings about it in just a moment. Michelle, tell us exactly what this energy company does.
Our energy company, what it does is with this smart battery, the battery is like plug and play. So when you get the battery, it's plug and play. Most people are familiar with the batteries that Tesla has, and they use lithium. And lithium is very harmful to our environment. Lithium has to be mined. And a lot of the issues that this battery will correct is because of all of the heat that the fossil fuels and all of these other agents that are being used, they create and they hold so much heat. And so one of the things that the company is doing is making sure we produce a product that is environmentally friendly, is biodegradable. But not only that, it can charge 3 to 4 times faster than a lithium battery. Is non-explosive. We have a remote battery system that can diagnose any issues with the battery, so we can take the battery offline. If the battery sustains an injury, we can close off that layer of the battery and let the remaining portion of it continue to function. So it's highly functioning, and so we're able to take this battery and we can combine the graphene technology in the battery with solar panels. So we've also got now graphene solar panels. So graphene can absorb up to 95% of the sun's energy. No regular solar panel can absorb that
That's
much of the sun.
amazing. Let me tell you something about these solar panels, because I have solar panels on my house now, and I've never had that
On
before.
your new one?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's amazing, just even for the environment, but also for your pocket.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so if we put the graphene battery and we pair that with the graphene solar panels, we're able to take you off the grid. So now we're reducing the heavy weight that's on the grid, that we all know that the grid can't even sustain all of the usage, because we have to plug up everything. We have to use so much energy.
And with climate change, the heat has been unbearable.
Right?
We've had like heat waves nonstop. And then that causes you to use even more power.
Yes, because I was talking to someone in Denver, and he was like, oh, it's 100 and something. I said, in Denver? It's only 80 in Atlanta. So, you know, when you're just looking at these things and these phenomenons where you can hardly tell the difference in the seasons.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out why is it still daylight at 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? It's getting, you know, so all of these things, you know, we've seen them. So we wanted to do a company that not only could we reduce the carbon footprint, but also we want to be able to give back. That's very important, because we've been fortunate and blessed to get into a sector or a space, an industry that we just are not in. We're just not in that space like we should be.
But this is a big I mean, you're already a global company. Talk about, I know what you're doing, something
Yeah.
really special in Hawaii.
Yeah. So before I could even finish getting the company set up, I'm not kidding you. We have more opportunities and more contracts that we're working on right now, letters of intent. And we haven't even fully been able to totally finalize the whole launch. So in Rustenburg, South Africa, we're working with them on a waste to energy conversion opportunity where we're going to convert their waste to graphene energy. And when we convert it to graphene energy, we're able to sell energy back to the community that's going to be clean energy. Not only can we do the clean energy from it, we also are able to take that graphene and infuse it with fuels, and we can create clean fuels, biofuels. So we can create clean diesel fuel, jet fuel, all of those fuels. We can create those from graphene now. And so that's in Rustenburg, South Africa. So we're getting ready to kick that off in maybe about a month or two. So that project's been working with our partner. Then we have a project in Hawaii. We're waiting on the letter of intent from the state of Hawaii to attack the Great Garbage Patch and the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And Andwele, we were talking about it because I always forget the size of this thing because it's so massive that there's that much garbage that is collected in the Pacific Ocean, and it's all come together, and it's between off the California coast and Hawaii. And so if they don't get this under control, this will end up growing to the point wherein, the trash you can't do anything with it. It's all the plastics and things that people throw on the beach, and they leave, and then it gets washed out to shore. So how big is that? I can always forget how large that patch is.
It's supposed to be like 2 times the size of the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
That much trash
That's
sitting in the middle
crazy.
of it in the Pacific Ocean. And so we're working with them now to be able to convert all of that trash to energy.
That would be phenomenal. Andwele, why is this something that you're passionate about? I know you said government contracting was boring, but now you found something that you care about.
Yeah. Again, like it goes to my kids and everything. So, like the wildfires and how even hurricanes will get even more violent. The sea levels will rise, which is going to eat up shores and beaches and take away jobs and not even just my kids, even just other people's kids too.
How did you when you first started saying, okay, I want to be a part of this business? What are some things that you've learned already from watching your mom work, but then also venturing off on your own to be able to be a part of this? Is your company.
You're being groomed to run this business. What does that feel like?
It's real cool. A big responsibility, of course. But I'm a pretty, even though I'm young, I'm pretty mature for my age. But I have an amazing business mentor / mom, of course, beside me to help me and guide me through everything. So I think that I'm going to be able to do very well with this and everything because she has all the wisdom and everything for me to pick her brain and everything. So yeah.
Have you applied for any government contracts yet?
No.
Are you planning to? I'm just saying, I don't know how you couldn't. You got the resource right here.
I mean, if I ever wanted to, I could for sure, most definitely do that.
You got to go through all the proper channels though first.
Yeah.
No shortcuts here.
Yeah.
And this company is called Andwele Energy. I mean, this is really something that you're going to take the helm of. How was that all birthed?
Actually, it was birthed. So me and my mom, we had a conversation 3 months ago, and when we had that conversation, I'm kind of a person who stays to myself. I don't really go out and say how I feel, or I kind of deal with things on my own. So we had a deep heart to heart conversation, and I didn't get to tell her everything, but just but one of the things that I told her that stuck out to her was how growing up my whole life since a little boy, everybody said, oh, you would never be anything, or you would never make it, or or they thought they was better than me, or from whatever reasons. And I was from a little boy. And my name, for people who don't know, my name is Andwele, but my name means that God has sent me. So that my name meaning and then them saying that don't go together. Right. So I knew that I had, some big things to do. I didn't know what it was going to be or what I was going to be doing. But I just knew one day I was going to do something and it was going to make an impact, and I was going to be the be successful and be the, take care of me and my family, and also be to help other people as well, and spread the love and the wealth to other people. So after we had that conversation, we said, let's change that and let's make you into something.
Right.
And
you were already something.
Yeah. You were already something.
Yeah.
And the day right after that, the very next day, Andwele Energy was born that day.
Michelle, this is a very expansive definition of generational wealth beyond just leaving. You could just leave your kids money and they'd never have to think about or work again for the rest of their lives. But you have a different definition of generational wealth.
I do. And I just want to piggyback a little bit off of what he said, because, as a mother, when your child shares their heart with you, it moves you, and it moved me. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was a miracle. I had what was it? I think about 3 or 4 at that time. No, it was a total. By the time it was all over, I had 5 miscarriages, but I had heard a promise from God to me, and that He was going to give me a son, but I kept losing the babies, so when he came, I knew when that baby was in the uterus and it made it, I knew at the ultrasound what they were going to tell me it was, because I had already been told. And there came this boy. A gift. Yeah. And so for him to tell me how his name and all of those things had been so twisted, something inside of me rose up and said, you know what? We got to go back to what God said about you. And so, and he's a great young man. Mm-hmm. He doesn't give me any trouble, any problems. And so I saw this as an opportunity for us to collaborate, but it was something that he had interest in. No matter what I tried to get him to do, those government contracts, I just couldn't get him.
And listen, that's fair enough. Yeah. I think when you're passionate about something, some people are very focused just on making money, and that's fine. But some people are like, I have to really care and be interested. Yeah.
He was just like, money. You make it, you doing, but that's just boring, Mom. He kept calling it boring, and it would hurt my feelings. And so
tedious.
Yeah, but at the end of the
tedious
day,
is a better word.
But so what I love about what we're doing is he gets to sit into meetings. I remember about 2 months ago, we were up in D.C. and I had him sitting right at the table with Senator Warnock. I mean, no matter what, if it's $1 billion deal we're talking about, whatever, he's included in all these conversations, and he's getting to learn people, their personalities, how they move, all of those things. And it's so wonderful because they're not, and I just have to go ahead and say it, people aren't making opportunities for black males in a corporate or professional setting for them to be who they really can be. You know what I'm saying? There are other things, there are more things that are against him that are for him. So to see him get in this space and thrive and want to learn and be passionate about, making sure we help others, because it's not just him now. I have my 3 daughters as well. So all of us came together and they agreed, the girls agreed that he would be the namesake.
Andwele Energy.
And so all of us are supporters, and we're all co-founders together, but he's the name, he's the face, and he's going to run that leg of the business. And then my daughter, Kiara, she is right now the VP of Business Operations at Anthony & Associates, but she's being groomed to be the president, because when I stepped to the side, I'll be the CEO, but she's going to be the president. Then my youngest daughter, she loves creative writing, screenwriting, and media. So I'm looking for her.
She's gonna tell that story.
I will be able to push her to lead the media company. And then my other daughter, that's the RN, because I have twins. She's an RN, and she loves real estate. So I also do real estate, and the government does do real estate transactions.
Okay, I have my real estate license.
And so all four of
Let
them
me do that.
are able. I'm positioning all four of them to have the knowledge, for one, and then have the ability to manage and transact money as a tool, not something that they're not accustomed to, or that it just blows their mind when you get it, because you got to stay focused. Certain things are a tool.
But you can open doors for somebody with all the connections and contacts and opportunities in the world, but they still have to walk through it.
Yes.
What are the important lessons you're teaching them that will allow them to thrive in these corporate cultures that they're in?
One of them is this: in order to get respect, you got to give respect, and you need to be respectable. So the way you treat people, the way you want to be treated, all of those things matter. So just because you have an opportunity that others didn't have, that's just by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? So we must care about how we interact and we treat people.
Yeah.
And when you do, you'll be amazed at how they'll treat you, how they'll respond to you, how they'll be loyal to you, how they'll be faithful to you, how they'll be willing to do whatever they need to do because you care about them. Not just them, but care about their children, care about what's important to them. And those are the things that I let them watch me do every day, and I pour that into them, because the most important element in our lives and what we do in business is the people that are around us. If you mistreat those people, you will not last long. But if you treat those people right, you will last until you're tired.
Right.
So
not
that's
just people
key.
who you feel like can do something for you either.
Oh no,
Yeah, right.
not
in
at
general,
all.
just treat people well.
Yeah, and you have to be a giver. And you have to be sacrificial. You have to understand, if you and I work together and all it is about me and I don't care about you, you won't be with me long.
Right. Absolutely.
And so I teach them those things, because what's going to be most important is the people that are around you. Either they're for you or they're against you.
And if they're against you, you got to cut them off.
Yep. And if they're for you, though, they'll push you to the moon and back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll follow you to the moon and back. And so that's the most important thing I can tell them, is treat people the way they want to be treated, and also how you want to be treated.
And I love about this conversation, a lot of us feel like we don't have the money to create the generational wealth we want to, but it's not all. Generational wealth is not just about money.
It's not. It's actually about transferring knowledge, because that's knowledge and money. And the other component, I'll say, is ability. Because you can have knowledge and you can have money, but if you don't have the ability to make it grow and do what it needs to do, you're still dead in the water. You got to have the ability to make it work, make it produce. You know what I'm saying? And so I am just grateful that that gift is in our family, and my son is carrying this torch. He's going to carry this, and he's going to represent myself and his sisters, and it's wonderful. It is really wonderful.
And be a world-class boxer at the same
Exactly.
time.
Yes.
It's important
At the
secret
same time.
conversation.
Yeah,
same time.
because he's on that, his health and his fitness and all of that. He's on it with all of us. I heard him, was it last night? You said, okay, when are you going to go back to the gym? When are we going back? So he's training his sisters, so he's, I love that.
I already have your nickname, your boxing nickname.
What?
Andwele, the graphene dream, okay?
We'll work on that. We'll work on that. And Dwelle, how can people follow?
He already has his name. Why? You want? What's your name?
We'll work
Well,
on it.
that name was too close to Haney's name.
Okay, you're right. You said you want Haney, though.
No,
Come
but
for Haney.
Haney's name is the Dream.
I
don't-
know.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to be like Haney, but
How can people follow you on this journey? We're going to
Wait,
watch
hold
you
on.
build
What is
an
the name,
industry.
though? What is
Wait,
your
wait,
name?
wait, wait. They're
so
still talking boxing.
my middle name is Michael.
Okay.
So they called me, because I got pretty good defense and it's kind of hard to hit me. So they called me Pretty Boy Mike. That's my
Okay.
name.
That's like Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah, but Floyd.
We need
but
something with the name
trying-
energy in there. I like energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
We'll think about it.
Okay, let's
We'll
put
think
You guys
energy
can
in
work
there. I
on
mean,
that.
you know.
But you never know in the fight. The fight might be sponsored by Andwele Energy, and
Okay.
the lights may be from us. I don't know.
The energy.
Yeah.
That's power.
But
Andwele, the energy.
And how can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Andwele_Anthony. And TikTok is the same as Andwele_Anthony.
Spell Andwele, son.
ANDWELE.
Okay.
And I want to just add one last thing that I think is the most special thing too. Is with the battery and with this energy company, we're going to be creating battery manufacturing plants all around the country and around the world. And so he'll be able to also give people jobs, meaningful employment, and, you know, stimulate economies. And then we're going to be doing some other humanitarian things. So just to make sure that he's a part of that and seeing his ability to affect lives will forever change his life. You know,
Right.
because once your hands are in there, you see the benefit. It's sort of like addictive.
This is honestly seeing her talk about this aspect of her business and this company that you're going to be in charge of, and your daughter is going to run your company. This is like the smiles are nonstop, but this is
Yeah.
what it's all about. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you both for joining us. Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody.
And Black Business Month too. What a great way to
Yes.
celebrate.